Hi everyone, look at behind me is the world famous parliament in Budapest. So that's Buda, that's Pest, they became one city, Budapest. Now, for the Jews of the Holocaust, the parliament has a very painful resonance because Admiral Horthy was the regent who allied himself with Hitler from the beginning of the war. So you have Hungary, who's an ally of Nazi Germany from the beginning of the war, even though tens of thousands of Jews, maybe hundreds of fought for the Austro-Hungarian Empire 20 years earlier in the First World War. But Admiral Horthy allies himself with Hitler. And still, he did not create anti-Semitic laws, for the most part, in Hungary until 1944, when Hitler forced him to and threatened him, and then he went overboard, became an absolute killer. They deported 600,000 Hungarian Jews, first from the countryside, outside of Budapest, and killed 90% of Hungarian Jews. It was the fastest slaughter of humanity in the history of the world. 90%. There's only 3 countries in the Holocaust where 90% of the Jews were murdered: Greece, Holland, and Hungary. But then, the reason why the parliament, amidst its beauty, has this very dark resonance is that the Arrow Cross, which is the Nazi Hungarian party, they came to power in October of 1944 and did even worse. So they took over all the parliament and they started taking the Jews. By this time, you couldn't really deport Jews to Auschwitz and to Birkenau because the Russians were cutting off, they were encircling Budapest. So they had to kill the Jews here in the Danube. So for us Jews, like the rest of the world, can go and look at the beauty of Buda on this side. Here's the chain bridge in front of us. The whole world can see this beauty. For us Jews, this is so painful because what they did was they took the Jews and they drowned them in the Danube. They would take 3 Jews together and they would tie their feet, and the Arrow Cross, the Nazis, didn't have enough bullets because they were fighting the Russians. So they would shoot one Jew in the head in the middle, and his feet were tied. He would sink into the Danube, and you got to kill 3 Jews with a single bullet. And they killed so many children, and they tied the children's legs together with little baby shoes so they couldn't kick in the water and they couldn't float to the top, and they would drown. And that's why right over here by the parliament is the world famous Holocaust memorial. You can't see it now because it's dark, of baby shoes. Netanyahu was just here a month ago. Shoes in bronze of children. So many Jews were murdered here in the Danube. So think about this. So we're on this boat, and all around us are people who are looking at the beauty and the sights, and they could just absorb it and take it in, and you see all the gorgeous bridges here in